Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
It's today. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. Does that make you happy? It makes me thrilled. Catherine, Jocelyn, two wise women who have already shown up, and the rest will be coming in shortly. There's Carla and Marguerite already. Anyway, it's delightful that you're here. Thanks so much for coming. Nancy, cheers. Here's to you. Jackie, lovely to have you here. We have, I feel like I've got a pretty good show for you tonight, this afternoon, as I was thinking about the process of putting everything together. And there it is right there, hot milk mix. This is how you get your own. Hot milk mix, by the way, this is how you keep your ketones in check when you're in ketosis. You're burning fat, not just carbs. And the other thing about it is it has all kinds, besides the exogenous ketones in it, it has all kinds of electrolytes, which makes you feel pretty darn good. And after today's workout, boy, did I need that. Anyway, some things that are coming up that you need to know about. The first one, I'm going to just lead with our text messages. Are you getting our text messages? I got mine at 12 o'clock in the morning. It's just my phone. It's not us. Believe me, we don't send text messages out at that time. But I hope you did, because we had a lovely treat in store. We had a lovely discount code, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure that you get on top of that. Hey, June. Hey, Flynn. And it's real simple. Just text the word join, all in caps, to 855-960-3720. You'll get added to our list. Then all you have to do is reply back to confirm your subscription. And that's the big yes, all in caps. You'll see it. It tells you what to do. Read it. You know what? I've figured it out at this age and stage of my life, that if I read the directions, I'm likely going to get the results that I'm looking for. How about that? What do you think of that? By the way, speaking of directions, how about this? When something is important enough, you do it even though the odds aren't in your favor. I'm not real excited about all these guys who, have billions of dollars and have decided to have their own private space programs, simply because I think that money could be, it's all, to me, it's just a big war of, who's the biggest dude kind of a thing, like who's going to get there first. There's a lot of things that they can do, but I give them credit. Who would think that the odds would be in their favor that Elon Musk would have a space program and would be launching rockets into space? Who knew? It's apparently happening. Hey, June. Let's see. Angie's in the house as well. Nice to have you here. The other thing that I want you to know about is our supplement of the week, because it's flying off the shelves. And of course it is, because it's our number one seller, InflaCrusher. Well, between that and Beauty Support, it's hard to know. InflaCrusher. If you buy 3, you're going to get 1 free. And I don't blame you for buying this. This is the time to stock up. And when I say stock up, just do it as many times as you want. You can throw as many deals as you want in there. We're not going to stop you. We might get backed up, and we might go into a back order situation. Wouldn't surprise me 1 iota, not 1 iota. Sue is agreeing me about reading the instructions. Well, just do it. It's funny because sometimes, and can I just side note here? Sometimes we'll have somebody who will write in and ask all these questions in customer service, and I'm thinking, did you read it? And usually they didn't. So, hey, I'm happy to help, but do a little bit of work yourself. Read the directions. I swear it's there. Doris, Juanita, all in the house. It's good to have you here. Of course, the dream team's here. Say hello to Lindsay and to Jenny. I was going to call Jenny Janet. No, call her Jenny. She likes being called Jenny with an IE, by the way, at the end. That's Resolute Jenny if you're hashtagging her. Also say hi to our Amber, who's also in the house. Jane's here. Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Nice to have you here. Lynn's here. You've been cold worse. It happens, right? Oh, I don't even want to tell you. Anyway, so I'm really glad you're all here. Julie, Autumn, Alice, you too. Anne, do I know anything to help dizziness? Yes, I do. Let's get that on for Friday's question. Okay, question. Send that in to support at savingdinner.com. By the way, this is how you get your questions asked. You know, because sometimes, Anne, it's just lucky that I saw that, but I don't have time to go through all of that. Plus, I'd like to do a little due diligence on that and see if I can kind of get down to it. And also, if you can talk about what your dizziness is, or how you've been diagnosed, or if it's vertigo, or if it's just plain, I get dizzy sometimes. Send your questions into support at savingdinner.com and put question for Leanne on Friday in the subject line. This is an email I'm asking you to write. When we do this, I'm going to dig into your question and make sure that it is completely answered. Okay? Deal? And remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm a nutritionist. I go at it from a nutritional point of view. I also make strong recommendations that you speak to your provider about X, Y, and Z or whatever. I will absolutely promote. I'm always going to do that. Of course I am. Tracy's in the house. Give him the old wave. Hot Melt 30, you can start that right now today. Listen, today is the 13th. So what? We have still, how many days left? 17 days left. Wouldn't it be fun to see what you could do with this next 17 days? Do you know that the Hot Melt 30, that's savingdinner.com/THIRTY. That is where you're going to find our whole entire program called the Hot Melt 30. And the reason that I love it so much is it has the ability to completely change the trajectory of your life. And that is not hyperbole. That's truth. Ask Tanya. Hey, Tanya, I'm glad you're here. And Jane, of course, is greeting our lovely dream team. What a sweetheart that she is. Listen, she's got a Hot Melt 30 story. As a matter of fact, if you go into our Facebook group, a Hot Melt Sprint group, you will see Tanya's picture every single day with a little post about what she's completed, because she has utilized that group and leveraged all the tools. She's a smart woman, and she's got the receipts. And check it out. It's just very proud of our Tanya. The other thing that I want to tell you about, besides the Q&A and the supplement of the week and all of that, is we have two full bloom events coming up. Saturday, April 23rd, in 10 days, folks, at savingdinner.com/bloom. Go get your ticket. Can I just tell you about the swag bag? Oh my word. The swag bag will floor you, blow you away, take you to the moon, to the next galaxy, whatever. I can't wait to see you on that. See you in 10 days. Jane's coming. I just can't wait to share this with you, because the subject matter is juicy and is going to make the difference in everything that you do. It's about making magic in your life, because this is the key. This is the path to getting to that place of absolute vibrancy and purpose, right? Can't wait. Cannot wait. There you go. I think that's everything. The other one is just July 29th and 30th. Those are our in-person right here in my house, on my boat, on the lake. It's going to be super spectacular. And that's all I'm going to say about it. We'll have a page for you ready. It's really going to be fun. We already have a lot of people that I know have gotten their reservations on planes. Asheville's the closest airport, by the way. And get your hotel or Airbnb or whatever, because this is a destination, y'all. So we want to make sure that you get a place to stay. Or you can curl up under my deck, because Caroline's going to be staying here. Tracy's coming. Yay. I love that. Yeah, we want you to get those rooms. And there's a lot of people who are rooming and Airbnb, getting houses and all that. It's going to be an absolute party. God, I love a party, right? Pinky's up on that one. All right, this week, are you, Lynn, yay, Lynn's going to be there. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you, Lynn. That's going to be so much fun. And Lynn's got a great story too. She is also part of our. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a Hot Melt 30, but she's got a great success story, and we're so super proud of our Lynn. So, isn't it feel good to feel good in your own skin, right? Pinkies up if you feel good in your own skin. And even if you're out, in process is progress, y'all. It means something, We're not about perfection here. We're all about excellence, though. And it feels good to be doing the right thing in our bodies. That's what I know. Yeah, Marguerite, I'm with you, girlfriend. Yes. Jane is. She is always. And can we just understand we're never going to arrive? Isn't that fun? That's part of our whole life's journey. We're never going to arrive. And that's why we're talking this whole week about deliberate creation. This is such a yummy topic because this is calling us to rise to the creative. It is. And it's calling us to understand and honor the creative process. So wise women get this. And I'm going to give you some stuff that's going to make you just go, yes, yes, yes. Especially if you are the woman who said, oh, well, I'm just not creative. That's not me. I've heard women say before, oh, I don't have a creative bone in my body. That's dismissive. That's dismissing a part of who you are when you say something like that. Are you ready? No, we're not going to do that anymore. You know why we're not going to do that anymore? Because of the entirety of who we are and whose we are, whose image we were created in, and who created us in the first place on purpose and for purpose. Wonderfully and fearfully made. And let me just say this, the creativity, the part of creativity is, artsy craftsy stuff. We've got lots of lovelies here, including Jenny, who has this real creativity thing going on with their arts and crafts and handwork and beautiful knitting and crocheting. And, you've seen it. You've seen it. Everybody, we've all seen it. We've been able to enjoy it. I have a little cross stitch thing that says I am an athlete that Patsy made me. One of my treasured things that she made me. I've got a little notebook that Joanne made me that she scrapbooked. This is all creative. And maybe you can look at that and go, oh, I just don't have that in you or whatever. But you know what? That's only a part of creativity. That's only a part of it. That's like looking at somebody's fingernails and just saying, oh, yeah, the most beautiful fingernail. That is not the total equation for their beauty, just because they have beautiful fingernails. There's other parts of her too. That's creativity. Creativity is big. Creativity is amazing. Lucy has beautiful creativity. I mean, I've got two of her beautiful stained glass right here in my office that I get to look at every day, and I think of her. I love them, Lucy. You know that. So, hey, Jema, I'm glad you're here. And we just need to understand that our creativity is more than just being able to perform something artsy and craftsy. Okay? Can we just, for a minute, and yes, it's true. That's a side note, though, sidebar. There, you can set aside that for right now, though. I want you to set that aside, because what's our mind immediately go to when we think of creative? We think of somebody who's a creative writer or somebody arts, crafts, that kind of a thing, music, creative musically, all of that. We just need to set that aside for a minute, because that's not what I'm talking about at all, especially when we are going to this place of being deliberate creators to create a deliberate life, right? So I want you to see that this is hyper restrictive when you do that. And it also cuts off that gateway that is our path to living creatively and deliberately creating in our lives to get the exact hot desires that we want, to get the things in our lives that we want, the people, the situations, the houses, the whatever it is. This is how we use this process to create absolute loving, amazing lives. And it's not just so that we have like all the things, it's so that we can then go on and live in our purpose. And as we live in our purpose, don't think for a minute that our purpose isn't going to touch others. It is always. That's how it works. You're here on purpose for purpose, and you're also here to lift each other up. Because as we are helping others, as we are lifting them up, we are called to, that is calling us to our greater purpose. Tara Swart, she's a doctor, wrote this book called, there it is, I'm almost done with it. It's called The Source. And what I like about this, it's sort of like, I mean, everybody, do you remember The Secret? And it was all that woo-woo stuff. And I remember just rolling my eyes and saying, oh my God, that's so dumb, so whatever. Well, Tara Swart is a medical doctor, and she figured out, after being a medical doctor for a while, that just wasn't what she wanted to do. And she was hating her on her life and all of that. And then she decided, she gave some people some great advice, and she ended up being a life coach, got a PhD, did all of this other kind of stuff. But she had this thing that I love that popped out of the book for me that just made me go, what? This is exactly it. And what she said is creativity is freedom. Creativity is freedom. I'm going to unpack all of that for you, because I really, I cogitated on that one deeply for a while and meditated on it. And I have a few things, some from the book, some from my own brain, that I want to really share with you about, because I think it's going to really maybe move the needle a little bit and get you out of the place of stuck. But creativity is freedom. So think about that, because as creativity as being a form of freedom, creativity unlocks our potential. Creativity gives us an idea and a notion that there's more than just this little tiny piece that we're thinking about, that actually that can expand out, that there's more to it, that there's more decoration that you can put on it, that you can fluff those pillows, and you get where I'm going with all of this, right? So while we definitely have seen a lot of creativity, I'm talking about the creativity that goes on between your ears. That's the thing that I'm talking about. And that is more the all-encompassing definition of creativity. It's the freedom to direct your full attention to create the truly vibrant life that you want. Creativity does that. It doesn't just happen. It's not just like, boing, oh, there's an idea, whatever. It's creativity that does it. Not willpower, not consistency, not tenacity. Those things all come into it. They'll come into play as far as being able to deploy this idea and put some inspired action behind it and make it happen. But it's creativity first that brings it into the forefront, into the prefrontal cortex of the brain, that makes this whole thing fully bloom, if you will. It all starts there. Creativity is the seed. Creativity is the whole genesis of the plant in the first place. And it gives us these ideas to reinvent ourselves. We all know Madonna is the queen of reinvention, love her, hate her, or whatever. You have to admire the grit of this woman. Although lately she's just been kind of creeping me out with, I don't know what the heck she's done to her face, but whatever. But when we reinvent ourselves, we get to improve our lot in life. We can say, I just don't like this whole thing anymore. I don't like what I'm doing. Maybe you're at a dead end job, or you're in some kind of a situation where you're going, it's day in, day out. This is just killing me here. Well, I'm going to just tell you something. You're not under house arrest. You are not a tree. You don't have to stay where you are. You're not planted where you are. You can change things up. And with a little creativity, and being really deliberate about that creativity, by the way, you can completely shift everything. We did this when we were living in California. This is eons ago. Living in California, it was just not going well, and kind of, the market was crashing, and, there's a big story behind that. But it was just like, do we have to live here? Can we change that up? Can we move somewhere else? Well, and the answer was yes. And that's when, this is pre-internet. It's starting to do all of the research and try to figure out what's what makes sense. And in the Los Angeles Times, I read an article about the booming housing market in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I went, I swear this is because I was thinking about out east somewhere. And I was looking at it and looking at the housing prices and all of that. And I was thinking, hello, that's affordable. That's something that we can do. Creativity took over at that point, and the rest is history. We did move to North Carolina. I could tell you the whole story, but needless to say, what this did was help me to see that there are possibilities in life. You're not stuck. You have to look at other venues and other areas, and maybe moving, as an example, isn't exactly lighting you up. You're thinking, I don't want to move. But on the other hand, that's just one avenue of this deliberate creation that we're talking about. So creativity, while it's freedom, is also possibility. It's not a limitation. That's the other thing that I love about this whole idea of creativity like this. And it's the spark that starts this whole idea of, what if we did move? Or can you imagine what it would be like to have a house where you could have an affordable mortgage and raise the kids and do all these other things just simply by moving from the location that you're in? That was something that wasn't even on my radar before. And I remember saying to a girlfriend at the time, I remember thinking, it never occurred to me until just recently that there's anywhere else in this country of 49 other states to live. It didn't occur to me. But creativity, and once the openness started and it was open to maybe moving's an idea, and reading that article in the Los Angeles Times, well, there you go. And then don't you know, the next whatever, my sister and her husband, who lived in the Los Angeles area, they ended up moving. He ended up getting a job interview in North Carolina, and I just felt like God was just pointing. I remember too, how God works in such mysterious ways. And I saw a truck, and I was talking to somebody about this, and I remember thinking about it and praying about it in my car as I was driving home from the grocery store. And I said, God, if you want us to move to North Carolina, just show us. And right then, this huge truck drove by, and I looked, because you know how you just look? I looked, and on the side of it, it said North Carolina something. I don't know. But that, to me, that's God talking to me and also showing me in his creativeness, because that divine creativity, there's nothing like it. Just letting you know that yeah, you're on the right path. This is something you should be looking at, and all these years later, that was 1993, 94. That's when that was. So there's actual neuroscience to creativity. And this is from the researchers at Harvard. And it's interesting. They've identified 3 factors that go into this kind of creativity. One is letting your mind wander. Yeah. I mean, haven't you been told, stop it, get focused, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, letting your mind wander. 2 is focused thinking. And 3 is selective attention. Now, I'm going to take those down a little bit, because I just went, how does this exactly fit into and attach to creativity? Well, wise women take these 3 practices seriously, whether you know it or not, whether you're talking about them or dismissing them or whatever. But this is part of the creativity equation. Allowing your mind to wander is a natural thing. And how many times have we done that? It leads to daydreaming, and it leads to thinking about, what if? It leads to allowing of different scenarios, like my whole story here about moving out of the Los Angeles area. And what I like about this is that it gives you an opportunity to just allow for ideas that maybe in your controlled environment up here, you hadn't allowed for before. And that's what that does. And to me, we, like I said, we think about this as a negative, be focused, stay on top of it. Don't allow your mind to wander. Don't allow it to go out. But that's just as far away from what needs to happen as possible, because this is allowing yourself the margin to just kind of go all over the place. What if instead of, moving to North Carolina, we said, we're just going to become nomads and go get a camper, RV thing and just travel the whole United States. Jenny did that, and so did Amber, they just mobile you could do that. Didn't even occur to me, at the time. But that had I allowed my mind to wander a little bit, maybe I would have come up with that. But, this is something that we do. And especially when we take that, a magnificent wine mongering thing and just allow it all to just dump out onto a piece of paper, that allows our mind to not be crowded so much. There's a lot of times I hear people say all the time, and I mean, this is the truth, that being like this and just allowing everything to just go everywhere, and they're afraid to write stuff down. And I'm going to tell you right now, can I encourage you? Start writing some stuff down, even if it's ridiculous, because this is how we get to this place of deliberate creation. We can't do it with just one or two ideas. And we can't do it if we keep everything stored inside. We're going to pop, and we're going to forget things, and it's not all going to just go easy. And you allow for the space in your head when you do this. So to me, this is where hot desire meets imagination. And that's the creation and the deliberate creation of something yummy, something next, something you want. And, that's what I'm saying. It's just sort of a brain dump kind of a situation. And some of it, I'll tell you what, your eyeballs will roll back in your head. You'll think, what the heck was I thinking? Am I on crack or something? And just to allow for that, because nobody's reading this, nobody's going to grade it. This is just the allowance of the creative process. That's all this is. This is. And I will tell you that with enough practice, you will start to see patterns, and you'll start to see things start to bubble up, and you'll start to think, wow, I've never thought of anything like that before in my life. Good. And then we get into focused thinking. And we bring focused thinking into all that gobbledygook that's sitting there in our journals, right? And you know what this is? This is so that your prefrontal cortex gets a good workout. Your prefrontal cortex likes to get focused and likes to get onto something. And have you noticed your prefrontal cortex is sort of like grabs onto something, doesn't want to let go? That's how I am, especially if you get obsessive compulsive about it. But that's your processor. And that's the big brain. That's the contrast thinker. That's the abstract thinker and all the scenarios type of thinking. Again, even though that doesn't seem so creative, it does. It refines all of these gobbledygook ideas and starts to focus in on, this is the thing that's grabbing my eye. This is the thing that's popping out of me. What if I did this? What would happen here if I did this? So if we do this, this is full court press for your prefrontal cortex, by the way. Loves it. Loves to just get drilled down and on that one thing. And it helps you to do one thing at a time, because again, multitasking, that's crazy. Multitasking to me is when you've got your dishwasher going, your washing machine and your dryer all going at the same time. That's all I can handle. So no. So then there's if we let our mind wander and we dump it all out on paper, we're choosing that one thing to get creative with. That's our prefrontal cortex. And then we go into the place of selective attention. And that's when we really start to laser in on what it is that we need to do. We focus, we block out distractions, and we become more mindful. And we start to see things. Our reticular activating system gets activated. And suddenly we're seeing those cars all over the road. We're hearing our name in a crowd. We're just more focused, more attentive. And let me tell you, if you don't think that that's going to add to the creative process, oh my gosh, you're greatly mistaken. So This is what feeds and creates your creativity. And this is what allows you to have this whole notion, this whole thing of, I am going to be a deliberate creator in my life and create the exact life that I want to live. Because let me just tell you, it isn't just for the very few, it's for everyone if you decide that this is what you want to do. So you know how you can really stir this process up a little bit and really bring it into fruition? Well, I got 5 things for you. And the first one is to doodle. Who's a doodler here? I love to doodle. As a matter of fact, where are my doodles? I've got doodles all over the place. I just don't know where they are in my journal and what have you. And some of them have words, and I don't want to share all my private thoughts. But I love to doodle. And what doodling does, this is according to research, is it helps to calm down our overthinking, helps us to process and to creatively solve problems. Who knew? Doodle, doodle, doodle. So you listen, you doodlers, get out your pencils and doodle. Okay. Number 2 is to journal. Write all that stuff down. Already mentioned it, mentioning it again. It's worth mentioning again. You got me? I know you're hesitant. You don't want to, this, that, and the other. Oh, I don't know what to say or whatever. Just do it. You know, remember, nobody's looking at this. Nobody's grading it. This is for you. And you'll find in this process that you get better and better and better as you go. Number 3, you're going to love this one. Play, dance, sing. You know, all of this is all linked to your focus. Studies show that when we do this, we are allowing for creative play. We're allowing for dancing and moving around. We're stimulating the vagus nerve. This all enters into and helps with the creative process. Number 4 is to get physical. Get this. There was a Stanford study done, and they found that people who walked were 60% more creative in problem solving and just being creative overall. 60% more from a simple walk. So I'm going to remember that today when I take Lincoln out for a walk. By the way, did you see my little video of him with his leash on the deck? That was so cute. Number 5, you're going to just love this one, is to allow for boredom. I know. Boredom, of all things. You know why? Because boredom gives you that opportunity without any boundaries to just let your mind wander. And we need to have that margin in our lives. We need to stop being so crowded with our activities and start to allow for the process. You know, as a writer and somebody who's written a few books in my time, that's always a part of my process. Sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll look around on my desk and I'll think, you know, I just need a minute. And I might go sit outside. We have on the deck, you'll see this if you're here in the summer for full bloom. We have this lovely chair that is hanging from a rope that Mark put up. And I'll just go sit out there and I'll just look out at the lake. I'm not thinking anything deliberate, just allowing for my mind to have the calm and the room that it needs to wander. And it's just, this is what we need. We need to have that allowance for that. Don't you think? So creativity, let me just recap everything by saying it's for everyone. It's not just for people who've got, you know, arts and crafts down to a science and just are able to create these beautiful pieces from all the things that they do. It's not for a select few. It's for everyone. And I'm not talking about, you know, I'm talking about just the way that we live our lives, because our lives are the most creative endeavor we're ever going to undertake, believe it or not. And those of you with all those arts and crafts that are stacked up in, I know you, stacked up in your closet, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to get to all of these? I've got so many things to do, blah, 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 blah. I get that. But that's not what this is about, because your creativity is the thing that is going to ignite your life. If we don't start there, we're not going to get there. So I will say this, that one, it is a skill set to allow for this creativity, but it's also a God-given gift. Everyone is creative, and everyone who desires with all of their heart to live a life of deliberate creation so that they can live on purpose and for purpose? Well, it's just a matter of deploying some of these tactics to allow and to see this all unfold right in front of your eyes. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. Let's do it. Together, pinkies up. All righty. Well, that was Wise Women's Wednesday. I hope you found that helpful. Tomorrow, of course, is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Christina says, Sable, stash accumulated beyond life expectancy. Oh, are we speaking this from... Oh, that's funny. That is funny. So I love you all, and I so appreciate you. Thanks for being in my life. I mean that. Peace be with you. See you Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.